Hey everybody, thanks for checking out this week's episode of My First Sketch at myfirstsketch.com. I'm Josh Hyam. As always, feel free to subscribe to the show on iTunes or on SoundCloud to get it automatically. You can catch the show on the Stitcher app as well if you use that. Like the podcast on Facebook at facebook.com/myfirstsketch. You can email me at josh@myfirstsketch.com and follow me on Twitter at myfirstsketch. So we are in the second week of the premiere of the new PHIT house team Fezziwig, formerly known as Codename Bacchus. But today's episode was recorded several weeks ago because I planned way in advance generally. So there's a few pieces of information that aren't totally timely. But it's still a fun one because today's guest is Andrea Duffy, currently the head writer of Fezziwig. Her first sketch is called Mrs. 10,000. Andrea plays Jen, Sarah Carter plays the MC, and I play the creepy old man in addition to giving the stage directions and visual information. So let's go to the sketch. Jen enters wearing her backpack, her eyes on her phone. Old guy enters from the opposite, notices Jen as they cross paths. Hey! Jen tenses for a fraction of a second and ignores him and keeps walking. Hey, sweetie! You'll never land a husband with your pretty face in that thing. Jen stops, noticeably uncomfortable as old guy exits. Suddenly, lights flash. You win, music plays. MC enters. She looks like a game show host.
Congratulations! That was just your 10,000th catcall.
Wow, 10,000 already? I knew I was getting up there, but I didn't know it was that close.
Remember last month when you didn't do so great on your anatomy midterm? Really upped your numbers in the Hey Baby You Should Smile category. But let's show you what you've won.
Prizes? Wow, what did I win?
The MC hands Jen a framed stock photo of a woman walking next to a car.
First, we have a tendency to flinch from cars that roll down their windows.
Oh, wow, I was already working on this. What else?
Confused feelings at realizing you feel a little bit validated, but also grossed out.
I didn't even have the words to describe that feeling until now.
But wait, there's more, since this is also a level up for you.
Hands Jen a drawing of angry eyebrows.
Here are some extra frown lines for your resting bitch face.
Wow, cool. That's sure to stop some of them in their tracks, right?
No, you'll find a strong resting bitch face will just get you to 1,000,000 that much faster.
What happens at 1,000,000?
One free pass to politely but firmly tell a stranger you don't want to go out with him without the fear that he'll become enraged and start following you, screaming that you're the C word.
Oh my God, that would be amazing. But 1,000,000 is so far away, I'll never get there.
Oh, honey, I think you'll be surprised. See you in a couple of years.
Hey, Andrea.
Hi.
All right, so tell me about this idea.
Well, I just,
Or where did this idea come from? Like, I mean,
Life.
obviously life, but what triggered writing it?
I like to make fun of things that are terrible.
Mm-hmm.
I like to take the things that happen to women and me and in life and just make them absurd to kind of defang them.
Right. But so why write it? What was your start point to writing sketch comedy? Like, why did you do this?
I was added to the Brought to You By show at PHIT Comedy.
Okay.
Last August. And I thought it was going to be like a kind of admin assistant type role. Like I could be in the sketches. I could like wrangle the drafts and the text scripts and stuff. And then my roommate came home and was like, hey, so scripts are due for, next week. And I'm like, oh, I have to write. Okay. All right. And the theme was school.
Okay.
So I kind of A to C'd it, which is the reason that I didn't make it into the show, is because it's not as schooly as another one that I wrote.
Yeah, it takes place
yeah.
on a college campus, but
Yeah,
it's not
it's just like,
necessarily.
it's
but it
out
could
of
also
school.
take place everywhere else in the world.
And it does.
Yes.
All the time. So I was like, yeah, walking home from school, that's the experience that a lot of us have.
Mm-hmm.
Let's make it a thing. Let's make it a bigger deal. Let's blow it out for higher stakes than it feels like.
So your first experience to write sketch was brought to you by?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's start at the beginning. What did you like going? What made you laugh as a child? What were you watching? What was your like favorite comedy things?
As a child, what did I like when I was little? I liked serious stuff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like what?
Well, I was super into Disney movies, but not like the fun ones. like the cartoon, like Hunchback of Notre Dame was my favorite.
Okay.
Which is the dreary one.
I
And
don't
Mulan.
think I ever saw it because I think that was right when I aged out of like
so good.
of Disney movies, and like I didn't care about them anymore because like maybe just being a boy like at that age.
It's very princessy.
There was I can't remember like the order of, but like Lion King, that Little Mermaid, Aladdin, Lion King, Beauty and the Beast, that like, and they're out of order there, but and then after Lion King I didn't care until Pixar showed up, so like I missed Hunchback, Pocahontas, Mulan, which
Mulan is so good too. That's my other favorite one.
again probably because I was a boy and Disney princesses didn't really do anything for me, but and probably like 10 years old or 12 years old. So all right, Hunchback of Notre Dame. What else is there? Like what would be your introduction to comedy?
I used to love to watch old SNL
Okay.
on VH1 when they used to have it on at like 3 PM.
Okay, so
yeah.
if you, this is my pet question. Everyone gets asked this: who's your favorite cast member from Saturday Night Live?
Oh, is it Amy Poehler or is it Maya Rudolph? I'm like,
Weigh the pros and cons. Let's
no.
put check marks on each side. Like, which one is it?
Pick
one.
Oh God, I'm gonna say
Fully knowing that the loser is going to find out. And
I know. What if I meet Maya Rudolph and she's like, "Why did you go with Amy?"
all right, so you went with Amy.
I went with Amy.
Okay, so Amy, why Amy?
I think she's been out more in the community in terms of like helping other people. Not
Okay.
from a purely comedic perspective.
Right.
But also she does have that very like not edgy but like frantic, excited kind of style, that kind of manic that she can play that's a little bit traditionally unfeminine.
Like I don't know if anyone else feels this way, but one of my favorite Amy Poehler sketches is where she's the little girl. I think it's Caitlin.
Yep. And her stepdad is Rick.
Rick, yeah, like just her running around, Rick, like is hilarious to me.
Yeah.
And or what is it? There's an episode where she's looking to buy drums, and the music store salesman's trying to like push his own band, and she's like, "Oh, that sounds cool." Rick, I don't want to go. Don't make me go. Like that interplay. That sketch is just so funny to me. Yeah. So. All right. What's your introduction to comedy in Philadelphia? Like, how do you find out about it? How do you
My
get into
therapist
it?
made me take an improv class.
Wait, what?
Yes. Right?
That's a thing?
No, she was like harping on me until I finally did it because I circled it for probably months.
Okay,
in the way
so
that
like,
people with anxiety do things.
So you're with your therapist, and how does like improv even come up? Like, I mean, I don't want to like breach any like doctor-patient confidentiality things.
Well, I brought my file.
Right, but like, where does that happen?
I had always been a theater kid. And
okay, so we can talk about theater too.
I mean, I guess technically that's also my intro to comedy. I was always the comedic foil, like the character actress in that. But in Philly, my day job, I'm a radio DJ.
Right.
And I'm in a studio all by myself all day.
Right.
And I missed kind of growing up in that like, theater, collaborative, being around other creative people. I kind of missed that. And I was like, oh, I want to take an improv class. And she had to just like convince me for months and months. And then I finally did it.
All right. So you're a theater kid.
Yeah.
like all through like middle school, high school, doing all the plays?
Yeah.
Any like community thing? Like
No.
what-
Just high school.
what was
musicals.
your like favorite role doing theater in high school?
I was the Witch of the West in The Wizard of Oz my
Okay.
senior year.
Okay.
And I always played the villain. I got a little sick of it. So it was the first time I learned as an actor that you have to always be on your character's side.
Right.
Right. So I played her as this like queen. She carried herself very highly. She was very like, she was still like an evil witch, but she was more like a Maleficent kind of character than a crone.
Like it wasn't that Margaret Hamilton like
right.
Right.
Like she was scary.
air stab people with a fake broom.
Right. Right. She was not comic at all. I made children cry. It was great.
That's great.
It was great.
Making children. I'm all for making children cry. All right. So you do theater as a kid, and you're a DJ on the radio. And I didn't realize that you were alone in the studio. I thought like maybe at least someone else was there just to like hang out.
Nobody.
So it's just you and cartridges and cartridges.
Cartridges.
What is
There were.
What are you like, Joey and Jesse on Full House with their cartridges? No, like with CDs or even all digital or.
It's all digital now. I touch nothing.
That's just even worse because there's no like.
I know. I have nothing.
No
to do.
catalog like.
I hope my boss doesn't hear me say I have nothing to do
I
in
hate my
there.
job. All right, so you're by yourself in a radio booth.
Yeah, we actually have a rule that no one's allowed to quote come bother me in the studio, so no one enters.
Like, is that a rule because of you, or is that just in general?
No.
Like,
No, it's a station rule. My boss doesn't want us to get distracted. He doesn't want salespeople like bothering us.
right? Okay.
But it cuts both ways. It's a double-edged sword.
Right.
And they're
Because
like,
at
no
some
one
point you
talk to
do
me.
want someone to be like, hey,
Yeah.
I'm in a 5-song rock block. Let's
Yeah.
try a little bit. Like, all right. So what's your first thing with? So I'm assuming it's PHIT. Like, you walk into PHIT. Who was your first teacher? What's your first class?
Fred Brown, Improv 101.
Okay. Have you done the full gamut of classes
Of
for
improv? Yes.
Okay. 201. Who does 201?
Greg Mon,
3,
Mike Marbach,
4.
Nick Gillette.
And have you done conservatory?
Conservatory with Kristen Shear.
Okay. Which was that? What was that conservatory class? Like,
Oh,
what was
we are Wilhelm, the team. We do the movies that smush into each other.
Okay. Okay.
Multi-genre.
All right. So you get asked to be a part of Brought to You By, and you
Because
think it's an administrative role more than anything.
Yeah, because my roommate was on it, Christopher Hodge,
Okay.
who I met the first day of Improv 101 with Fred Brown.
Okay.
And now we live together. And he's like, yeah, we don't have any girls on the show. So it was like, do you want to just come like be in the show?
So was that the case when Emma and Julia Hudson, or like
Julia
roughly,
had left.
Right, okay.
Yeah,
So,
and Emma and I came in at the same time.
okay. So you were replacing the
We were the
Julia.
ladies, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. So what was that experience like of writing sketch for the first time for wraparounds for videos like that?
It was a weird experience because I didn't know if I was any good at it.
Sure.
I had never taken a sketch class. I had never written a sketch. I had never been to SketchUp.
Which is all just like, there's a part of me as a sketch purist that's just like, oh my God, like what's happening here? No sketch class. Like I think you're the first.
Screw you,
No,
bitch.
not like that. It's just like you're the first person in a while that I've talked to that hasn't done like the sketch 101s within this time. Like, because a lot of people that their first sketch that they bring with me is from 101. It's like their parody or their fish out of water that you'll learn if you take a 101.
I know.
That's a horrible thing for me to say.
Yeah, the head writer of FIT's newest sketch team has never been in a
taken.
sketch class.
Yeah, so okay, so Brought to You By, which has since canceled or moved on.
Yeah.
Did you write a lot with them? Like, have you done multiple sketches and stuff through Brought to You By?
Oh yeah. This actually, I submitted 2 sketches for our first sit down because I wrote this and I was like, it's not really school-ish.
Right.
Like it's not, I kind of A to C the theme. So in case they went like the theme, I got an idea and I sat down like 15 minutes and wrote another one. And that ended up being in the show.
Okay. What was that?
That was, it was mapping Olympic gymnastics over the high school hallway.
Okay.
So there were two commentators on the side, and they were going, "Oh, here's Jimmy. He's winding up for his first pass of the year. Ooh, a Game of Thrones T-shirt. That's a bold move. That's gonna score him points with the nerd judge."
Okay. I see. Okay.
So
That's a fun concept. Like, so it's not necessarily like gymnastics. It's like when you said that, I was thinking like Hodge
or figure skating.
Hodge is gonna like do a cartwheel, which would have been fantastic. But
that's a right idea. He's on Bacchus with me, so that might
put it in your book. Hodge do a cartwheel. Yeah. Like, all right. So now you're on. So Wilhelm.
Yes.
Like, is that that's you guys
improv.
still do things like?
We just got booked for Charm City, and it'll be the first time we've been together since DCM last June.
Oh wow!
So,
okay, so I mean, so you guys are still together, but not like actively every.
My main
month
improv
or...
is Clamor of Harpies.
Clamor of Harpies
With
okay.
Sarah, who read my script. Yeah.
I knew there was one, and I totally forgot what it was because I don't take notes or do research. Clamor of Harpies. Where does this begin?
It was New Year's last year. I knew Sarah, and she was like, "Oh, I'm starting up an all-lady team." What was it? It was because I was complaining about something. Yeah, I forget what it was that I was complaining about. Men. And you sent me a message that was like, oh. It was one of those times when bad things happen. Oh, it was that one of those viral articles from a woman in comedy about terrible things men do. And everyone in the FIT community was like, and they were like, "Oh, if I saw this happen, I would totally shut it down. I would never allow this to happen." So I took to Facebook, as one does, and I was like, "Here are incidents described in a very general sense that y'all have been in."
So that was the snowstorm weekend.
That was not.
That was.
This was, it predicated that. We had a couple iterations. This was like in the fall. Was it like, it took a long time.
Okay, it wasn't that big, awful unraveling of everything that awful ever happened.
Right.
Ever.
It wasn't the snowstorm.
Okay. So this viral article and your
reaction to it.
Okay. So then how does that get to an improv team? Like,
Sarah sent me a message and said, "Hey, I'm starting an all-lady team. Do you want to be on that? Like, that'll be more fun.
Okay.
And it'll solve all the problems that you're talking about here. Like, there won't be any men to do these.
What kind of what kind of problems were you like was it the Sarah's like
you're right. Do you want us to go in? Because we'll go in.
No, because I don't
Can you get me some tea?
I don't remember this post. Like, I don't know if it was like in what? How do you guys say it? Like improveries, like, or was it in the full like actual?
It was in the actual community. I saw people sharing it. It was a woman describing how her scene became a gang rape. And no one stopped it in class.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if you remember that.
You're talking, like within like improv class, like.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. I think I do vaguely remember this now because I was just like, how does that happen? Like, because even I'm just like that's not how this should have been.
Right.
Like, any normal person should have been like, what's happening here? Like, but I don't take improv, so.
Yeah. It's strange.
There's a certain point where no comes into yes and like where the scene shouldn't be how it's going, I feel.
Yeah, there's a downside to yes and. We talk about this, Sarah and I, in our podcast, Sarah and Andrea Should Smile.
Okay.
New episodes coming soon from Fit Comedy Rocket Network about yes and can be manipulated by abusive people.
Yes.
Because if you're trained that you're always supposed to say yes to them, they will put you in situations where you feel bad if you don't say yes or are made to feel bad by the community. Allegedly. So that's kind of a step that we're taking as a community to kind of figure that out and be aware of that. But it all stems from things like that article. Right. So Clamor of Harpies. Yes. All female group. Yes. Who all's within the Clamor of Harpies? Me, Sarah Carter, Amanda Bailan, Erica Gooch, and Clara Menton. Okay. And that's your more full-time improv group? Yes. I've seen things around, but I don't see improv shows very often. We're good. I mean, we have two. There's one in April. There are two in April. After that. You can go to Grape Room on April 18th or Improv Under the L on April 17th. What else, Sarah? San Diego. Oh, we went to San Diego Improv Festival. That's right, because I think that's when I first was like, wow, why San Diego? Like, who's going to San Diego? Like, I didn't like. Now, granted, I didn't know San Diego had an improv festival because I don't like.
scroll through all the cities because was it Rumi's going to Omaha or something? I was like,
know.
What is this? What is Omaha?
I'm like, Joe, what's there? I think they just want to get that pizza that's at the McDonald's that's an hour and a half away. So
there's pizza at a McDonald's?
The only McDonald's that sells pizza is a 90-minute drive from Omaha. So I think that's part of the decision to go to the Omaha Improv Festival and then go get this pizza at McDonald's.
Because even when like...
I mean, everyone has their reasons.
Because even when like Barbara Bush went to Indianapolis, I was like, Indianapolis? How do you pick Indianapolis? Like,
I know.
I mean, granted, they're all fine, wonderful cities, but like, Toronto, Montreal, they're the ones that you hear about more. So, all right, so Clamor of Harpies go to San Diego. How was that?
So fun. Oh, it's so much fun.
Like, did you actually have like San Diego time? Or
yes.
Just...
We were out there for like 5 days. Sarah was out there for even longer. And we went on a group vacation with an improv show in the middle of it.
Right.
It was so fun.
Which sounds like the way to do it.
Which I would probably not do in Omaha.
No, because, I mean, how many times can you go see like the sets of Alexander Payne movies? Like that movie Nebraska, like all of his movies are in.
I didn't even see the movie Nebraska.
Nebraska, Citizen Ruth, and Election all take place in Omaha because that's where he's from.
Election.
Yeah. I don't know
That's
how much,
nice.
like, if there's like an election tour, which I think there should be.
There should be.
Although I don't know how many tourists are going to Omaha, and
I
think I might be one of the only people to be like, yeah, let's do that. Like, let's go see where Election was shot. Cool.
Now that I shaded Omaha, I can never set foot in the Omaha Improv Festival. We heard about it.
We're gonna totally make it Omaha versus Andrea Duffy now. Like that's the campaign out of this
Suck it,
podcast.
Omaha.
All right, so. Am I missing anything until we get to Bacchus? Like any other fun projects that you've done? Anything?
I was on my first ever improv team was No Ghosts.
No Ghosts. Okay.
I don't know if you remember them. We had
I've
like
heard
9
about No
people.
Ghosts with Hodge and
Yeah.
when I talked to him and McGee, I think, and a couple other people. And then now you're the head writer on Bacchus.
Yes.
How does that happen?
They were putting out for a new sketch team, and I was on Brought to You By, so I had some sketches. And I was talking to Hodge, and I was like, do you think that I should? Because I've never taken a class. Like, I only got on Brought to You By because you needed a girl, and I'm your roommate. Like, and he's like, just submit. Just submit. So, and I had to get special permission.
So you were, okay, so you did submit. Like, you weren't.
Yeah, they didn't, like, come to my house. And
Okay,
say,
because that's...
it wasn't like some
I
YA novel. Like,
well, I talked to Sam Russell a couple weeks ago, and she had mentioned that when she was asked to be the director, they asked who she wanted as head writer, and she was like, Christian Alsis, or I'm not doing this. Like,
wow.
Which I assumed was the same case with this, where they picked a director and the director, not that you had to submit. So what was in your submission? Do you remember like any of the sketches that?
This Mr. 10,000 one was this
Okay.
one that we read. The popularity floor exercise is one that I told you about, mapping the what else? I think passive aggressive smoke alarm.
So I'm assuming that's just like a smoking alarm.
It's not like a shrill smoke alarm. It's like a cool smoke alarm that's like not gonna bother you if you don't want to leave, but you maybe should.
Oh, so like, hey, you're in danger, possibly. Whatever.
It's like it's a bunch of business dudes sitting at a table, and the smoke alarm goes like, I don't want to bother you.
Okay.
I don't mean to interrupt, but like, if this is a stupid idea, just tell me.
I like that. That's a fun one.
Yeah.
So Bacchus, how's that going so far?
Great. We are getting ready for our first show in May.
Yeah.
May, April, May.
It should be May because I'm
May.
planned out for May. For
Okay.
This.
I don't know what is happening in my life.
And I think Bacchus is going to become the group that I almost finished first because I got a lot of the members before Bacchus, and then I think I'm only like down to one.
You had Hodge. You had Alyssa.
I had Alyssa. I
Me
think
and Ian.
Alexis is the
Because I'm sure you had Patrick.
Patrick was one of the first. All right, so how's the process going so far?
It's good. It's good. So fun.
'Cause-
We just met our actors.
Right, because that just came out. Hodge told me that Bacchus was going to be a bit dark.
Yes. We all have a weird sense of humor.
Okay, so, well, I mean, I know that because, Patrick, first off, is generally a very dark comic. Like,
he's not even the darkest one.
Well, I would say, Patrick writes sketches. Like, you're generally in for a dark time with them. Like, and sometimes it's too dark, or I think I told him to put a little joy in the middle of a show, just to give a little upper in the middle.
I think our darkness comes from, it's kind of the same idea that's in my first sketch that I brought, is taking a really dark situation.
Right.
And then putting light and humor and wit and kind of a dry twist on it into that.
Yeah, because I mean, catcalling in your sketch is not like, it's a shitty thing. It shouldn't be happening.
It's not funny in itself.
But turning it on its ear and being like, oh, 10,000th episode, yay! Like, that stupid. I don't know, like if stores actually did this, or this is just like a sitcom trope where like, oh, you're our 1 millionth customer, and like lights flash and everything, and doing it that way. That's totally. So what are you watching now? Like, what's making you laugh now?
I finally watched my way through Parks and Rec.
I haven't done that yet.
Oh, so good.
I think I'm still like season 3 or so.
Yeah, I did that.
Sam B. All right. I had an issue with one of the sketches that she did a couple weeks ago.
Okay.
Where she was making fun of the governor of Wisconsin. There was a segment where she was making fun of the governor of Wisconsin, if I can say words correctly, about what he ate.
Oh, Scott Walker's sad food blog.
Yeah, like I don't know. There's something about like
because he eats a ham sandwich every day or something.
But like there was it turned into like weird things about like other like I don't want to say like delicacies because it's Wisconsin and delicacy whatever. But like
hey, don't come for the cheese curds.
That's what I'm saying. Like cheese and stuff. Like like Wisconsin's for cheese. Like of course the governor of Wisconsin's going to celebrate cheese. Like that's how that's supposed to be. Like I don't know. It felt weird to me. Like I don't know.
Yeah, it was kind of making fun of the fact that he's a boring ass dude and also kind of a monster gubernatorially. Like
that's what I'm saying. Let's go for that instead of like, oh, he eats a ham sandwich. Like that's an odd choice of where to go.
Yeah, like you can be nefarious in real life, but your Instagram is just all struggle plates. Like, come on.
So all right. So Bacchus, do we have a name yet?
No. We're kicking some around.
Do you have a list?
Yeah, we have a very short list.
I think when I talked to Dan McClory from the Decoy, I talked to him right before the Decoy opened, and I was like, "Do you have a list?" He's like, "Yeah, we've got 80 something names like on a list." I was like, "Oh my gosh! Like, what is that?" Like,
why would you even take the time to write down 80 names?
I think they
just
threw like
10?
every possibility like out there. Like, other than this dark, weird sensibility, what can we expect from Bacchus?
Let me think about our sketches. Love, really. There's a lot of the people in the sketches, the characters. And I think it's because a lot of us do have a strong improv background. The characters are usually more at odds with their situation than each other. Which is more compelling to me, and it's the reason I liked Parks and Rec a lot, because I like when people like each other.
Yeah, like I was thinking about that recently with I don't know what I was watching or something, but like I've gotten tired with sitcoms where this group of friends are constantly at each other's necks, like or are constantly making fun of each other.
Or the husband-wife sitcom where you're like, why are you married?
Yeah, where they're always so against each other, like butting heads all the time, which I know happens in real life, but like, why are we? I think it's Big Bang Theory because they're constantly making fun of each other. They're constantly like, pointing out each other's flaws. I'm like, why do you hang out with each other? Like, if you're not being paid millions of dollars as actors to do that, like, I don't know. It feels so antithetical to what comedy should be when, like, the conflict between the two characters are just like so hate based compared to like, let's do this together. Like Parks and Rec is very much like, we are in this together. Like, I don't think there's really any character that hates another. Like the April Rashida Jones kind of thing might be the biggest case of that, I think.
Probably.
At least but even then it's not like but still. Okay.
Yeah, they're on the same team. Like, life is hard enough. Life is absurd.
Let's
work together. We're on the same
your
team.
circle of friends. Let's actually be friends and do this together. So, all right, we've mentioned favorites SNL, and you've totally thrown Maya Rudolph under the bus.
I'm sorry, Maya. I'm sorry. I love you. I love you so much.
but not as much as Amy.
Not as much. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
So why comedy? Why do you hang out with Clamor of Harpies? Why do you do Bacchus? Why, like, what is the draw to comedy?
Sarah just gave me a look. Like, tell me why. Well, my Harpies I love so much. Obviously, they're wonderful, but because life is hard. Life is hard, and life is dark, and my life has been pretty hard and pretty dark. And I think that when you can see darkness that's that deep, the light looks so much brighter. And it's almost a method of defiance to say to a world that's so colossally like against you, you can't take my enjoyment of my own life.
Right.
Like I'm still having fun, so suck it.
Yeah. I think that's one of the things about like comedy is like it's universal, and any crappy time someone goes through, like, you can go for a laugh. Like,
yeah.
I always say, like, I'm the person that when my grandfather died, as we went to the funeral, as we went to the cemetery, actually, I was listening to Louis C.K., like, just to completely break, give myself a little bit of happiness that day, like, instead, because, that day's just awful to start. So you need a little bit of extra, like.
I know. And there's absurdity even in darkness. My grandmother's funeral was hilarious. No, it was. She had never been religious ever.
Okay.
But they hired this pastor who talked about how much she loved Jesus.
That's
and had everyone close their eyes. And if anyone wanted to get saved the way Cass would have wanted, just raise your hand.
Didn't realize that was a thing at funerals. I've experienced that.
Yeah, he made a sales pitch at
before.
a funeral for a woman who wasn't religious. But my parents and my grandfather and like her sister and her best friend didn't care because they had gone through all of her pills to take the mood stabilizers. And
oh my God.
So my immediate family was shit-face high. And they're like, this is beautiful. I'm like, what is going on? What is happening?
and now that you're that's just awful. And now
right,
that,
but so ridiculous. Like, it's funny. It's funny.
Although I think there's a scene there's a British movie a couple years ago, Death at a Funeral.
I've heard of it, yeah.
Where one of the characters stumbles upon some pills, and it's not what it's that, oh, why'd you put ecstasy in a Tylenol bottle? Why wouldn't you? Like, that kind of joke.
Yeah,
and
it
he
was
does
pretty
ecstasy,
much that.
and I think it's Alan Tudyk, and he just goes crazy throughout.
Alan
Okay, so you're the head writer on Bacchus, but you've never done a sketch class through PHIT.
Right.
But being the head writer and being in a room, you've learned stuff. So what is something that you would pass on to someone that's just starting in writing comedy?
I think a lot of my writing and my process and the way that I approach it has been informed by improv, and also being on the radio.
Okay.
Because both things require you to communicate quickly and succinctly, and very, very clearly ideas so that the audience can get the joke. You can't kind of meddle around, especially on the radio. I don't have a visual. I don't have a lot of time, so you really learn how to cut out everything that's not important. So when I'm writing the sketch, I'll get the idea, but the first thing I'll do usually is kind of figure out the game. Like, what game do I want to play with this? And then here are kind of the beats as they go, and then take out whatever's not. I don't waste any time doing something else that's not feeding to the next thing.
I mean, even in the Mr. 10,000, there's nothing extraneous or unnecessary in there. Like, it's, beat by beat, you're clearly going through, which a lot of people don't do with their first sketch. Like,
right, because you have to get there. You have to get there over time.
Yeah, my first sketch is like 7 pages long. So,
oh god!
And when I saw that yours was 3, I was like, all right, this is good start.
Yeah,
all
I
right.
don't think I've ever
good first sketch.
I am good at killing my darlings.
Well,
I am not attached to words.
I have a rule that I've been going through is that my length of sketch is based on how many people are in it, and since basically your sketch is 2 people, like 3's perfect. I love it.
I know. This
All
is probably, Ian, is this like the smallest cast sketch I've ever written? Because I'll show up at Bacchus with like 10 people on stage. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
But with Brought to You By, we only had 5 people in the cast,
Right.
so I had to. And now we have 12 of us.
All right. So with Brought to You By, who would have done what? Who cast this sketch with Brought to You By?
Me. The person, when they got selected, we all voted. So there was 5 of us and we only needed like 3 or 4 sketches. Or 5 or 6 of us. So there were 6 of us. We only needed 4. So we'd all send Casey our top 3, and then whoever got the most votes, their sketch was in.
Okay.
And then if your sketch got in, you got to cast it.
Okay.
So I would have made Drew the old guy. And I would want to play the MC, I think. Or no, I might have made Emma the MC, and I would play Jen. But we were the only 2 girls, so I guess anyway.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Andrea.
Cool. Thank you. This was fun.
All right. Andrea is a super busy person. Obviously, the Fezziwig premiere continues this Thursday and Friday, May 18th and 19th at 8:30 at the Philly Improv Theater. Her podcast with Sarah Carter, Sarah and Andrea Should Smile, is available on iTunes with new episodes coming shortly. She's also the co-host of the Sunday Night Improv Jam at PHIT every Sunday at 8:30 p.m. And of course, you can hear her on the radio on More FM 101.1 weekdays from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. My First Sketch is a Philly Sketchfest production. You can find out more information at phillysketchfest.com or on Twitter at PHL Sketchfest. Also, for more information about comedy in Philly, head to watercooler.com. The music on this episode, like always, is by the band No No, which you can check out at nonoband.bandcamp.com. And of course, like My First Sketch on Facebook. This is Josh Hyam. Thanks for listening. Now go see some comedy.